Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com. In this part of the course, we're going to start looking at creating just a little project which you can write in C++11, and that's what I'm going to do. But if you prefer, you can also use C++98, let's say, or some previous version. And the project's just going to be to create a fractal image and write it to a bitmap file, basically. So if you search for fractal in Google and look at images, you'll find all kinds of weird images. We're going to create actually specifically the Mandelbrot fractal, which is written like this, Mandelbrot. The reason I picked this is basically because I wanted some sort of project at the end that you can do if you want some practice just for C++ in general. I thought about creating first a GUI project, as I explained previously, but I realized that's probably not a good idea for this course. And I also thought about creating some project that's more similar to what you do in a university, like for example using linked lists or something to create a sort of project that writes to a sort of file-based simple database. But that's quite boring. And I've always thought that the best thing to do is practice C++ on whatever interests you. And this kind of interests me. I hope it will interest you too. So we're going to create an image that looks kind of like this one up here. I don't know what site this is. Or a bit like this maybe. Something like one of these. These are actually algorithmically generated images, and that's why I think this is quite good for practicing C++, because you get to use your logic quite a bit. So I can't think of a project that would test every feature we've been over by any means, but at least we'll use some. Obviously we'll use C++ and we'll use some features of C++11 if you want to. I'll be showing you how to do that. So we'll get some practice. We'll get practice at writing a binary file format, which you may never have to do even if you work as a software developer for years and years. Or then again, especially if you develop your own programs from scratch, you might well want to do that, because something like Microsoft Word or pretty much any desktop program will be capable of saving to its own file format. And here we're gonna look up the bitmap file format, which is a format devised by Windows for representing images, but pretty much any computer can display a bitmap. And we're going to algorithmically generate an image and write it to that bitmap file. If you search for the Mandelbrot, or the Mandelbrot I should say, I think his name is pronounced Mandelbrot, the guy who discovered this, you'll get a whole variety of images. Some of them are really ugly, some of them are really strange, and they've been made by pasting together multiple different images, and some of them are really beautiful. We're going to create an image that's sort of in the mid-range of beauty. Maybe it's going to end up looking a bit like this. Perhaps not as good as this, because I'm not such an expert as whoever this was with colouring the Mandelbrot. But we're going to create something a lot like this, and I'm going to put zoom functionality into it. But because it's a bitmap, of course you have to hard code zoom coordinates, but if you want to, you'll be able to get further practice by combining this with the SDL stuff that I showed you in my free beginners course, and you can create a zoomable fractal program if you want to, although I won't show you how to do that here, but I'll show you most of what you need to know for that. We'll also look at taking the code that we write and putting it into a library, so I'll show you how to create your own C++ library files, which is a really useful thing to do. If you want to create some classes that you want to reuse over and over again, you can put them in one or more libraries and then just use them by linking your program with the library and with the relevant headers that you've created. Okay, so that's basically it for this tutorial. I've already created just a simple Hello World program configured to use C++11 just using my Eclipse here, and we're going to start adding to that in the next video. So until next time, happy coding.